As indicated by Census 1827, Revision Stroke 52, the magnanimous decision of the Senate stands with regards to this matter. The lands indicated as belonging to a portion of landscape 79 in Tandak Prefecture are now forfeit at the enlightened request of our illustrious Grand Prince. Demolition and excavation are slated to occur within the week, with the full construction of the marble statue of Grand Prince Davian III to be completed within the 3 months following. If the Church of Irari wishes to further oppose these enacted measures, then an inquiry can be formed, though a senatorial pre-hearing on the matter cannot occur until 6 months and 12 days hence. Four, three. What was that?
I forgot to mute my phone.
Oh. Please turn your phones off. We're ready. We're here. We're doing all kinds of things. And soon, we are here and we are recording. And maybe it's live, maybe it's recorded and extremely edited for your listening and viewing pleasure here on the GM's Cut on Stream on our YouTube channel at Mongers Podcasting Network. Now, our go-to is audio, and it pains me to know that those streaming and video services crunch down the audio down to 168 kilobytes a second when we can record at 705 as a WAV file and only crunch it to 320 kilobytes than when we upload for the ambience, for the better music. But if you like it raw, Matt likes it raw. If you like it raw, we're here for you now. Welcome to Dice Before Dishonor. When last we left our heroes, I believe, was it really a victory? Matt, Sir Winston.
Yes.
There is the case of the missing belongings of Madame Melfing Trant, but luckily you're not there when our prosecutor, Leon, the samurai, our support witness, Lord Gildevarth, and the defendant, Fafal, the judge.
Preside.
Thank you. Proceeded over by the NPC cleric Juan Zumbare from the Mogwani Expanse, cleric of Abadar, played as a cameo appearance from our friend of the podcast and possible future second edition, first edition, some edition we can make him learn, GM Rob Hammond is in the house tonight.
You have a chance to play, is what I am.
Yeah, that's right. I want to play. You did witness the defendant search the body, pawn a precious item, toss what looks like in your hand, a senator's badge, which you have fixed.
Sweet.
Yeah, fixed it to Barclay's collar so you guys can match, and he can look official in case you get separated. I mean, you did give the wolf away to some other halflings once this evening. If he gets separated, at least he has the credentials, because you've already been kicked out this evening.
Just
right?
once.
And he might have found a gold purse and tinkled a couple coins, and then the guys came in, and you were decided...
Allegedly.
But I'm catching up on what he witnessed. He decided to take Barclay, tag Leon, who could come in, and because you're in the archives, perhaps finally get around to your mission.
Yes.
The mission man, missing last episode. So I'd like to start with Sir Winston, who rides past Leon. Leon, on cue, passed you a beautiful silver tray half filled with crab cakes.
Perfect. Chuck one at the orc on my way out. Well, I mean, they almost started a food fight. You can't really just let that stop.
Well, mulling about the archives, your mission. Do you actually remember what the mission for the
Yes, I was supposed to function as a senatorial aide for our benefactor here, the
Lady Lothid, yeah.
Lady Lothid, yes.
But what was your actual task?
I think I actually had to deliver a message or a missive, or pick something up and get it back to her. I'm not 100% sure on the details. I just know I needed to be able to move about with some relative level of speed.
Okay. Well, if we were to put it the way Fafal likes to put thing, as an aid, because you took the athletic champion trait, in addition to spies, allegedly, Martella might actually need a real senatorial aid, even though that's your cover, to, well, not just be your cover for you guys, but to actually run some communications between some of her allied politicians, and this is where you come in. So, from you, sir, do you remember the bonus we incurred? You had a big peak on the gallery, get a +2.
Yes.
A lay of the land, watching the crowds break like waves upon the hors d'oeuvres trays, all that type of thing. You are allowed to do that now.
Sweet.
You need to navigate the crowded, ever more crowded as the night wears on, Senate floor and deliver some messages quickly. And I need some escape artist or a combat maneuver check from you. So you can use your combat maneuver bonus with Barclay at +2, or Barclay's escape artist. Or I guess.
Oh yes, I should probably punch up his character sheet. We got to get that stuck into Fantasy Grounds somehow.
Because I've decided we can't pawn everything into a ride check. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you tell Barclay go left, go right, but it's really Barclay's legs that are like, escape this, escape that.
Yep.
So
no, that makes sense to me.
However, I will allow because there are feats and there is a way of like, and my mount does not take damage with a successful ride check. I will allow you to use your combat maneuver bonus at that promise bonus +2.
Barclays might be better.
Yeah. You decide. Anyway, she gave you some sealed letters, and your first target is one Count Orlando Zespire, who is supposed to be here in the archives.
Okay. Well, seems like a good place to start.
Well, since you are here in the archives, crab cake in hand, and missed him. Moving about the archives, let us pull up the map. Now, because half of our games are in one format and the other half are in the other, and we've recently reached out to the Spotlight program for one of them, we shall remain nameless, but rest assured that we use multiple platforms and support all of them because it's all about fun gaming. So, drawing your attention to the map here, Winston, can you see what's going on here?
I cannot see the map, so no.
How about now?
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Okay.
Hey.
So I've got you here out in the middle, and this entire area, sort of north of the big round Senate, the side rooms and here and beyond, that
That's
type of thing.
the archives.
Pretty much the archives, yeah. The back rooms, this entire reach, this top thing, massive library, people moving around. Lots of moving, lots of jousting. Well, sorry, not jousting. Sorry.
And it's actually pretty simple with the whole...
Well, first you got to find him. So how would you find and identify... You never met the man?
No, this is true.
Or have you? Can I have a knowledge nobility check? I know this might be a rare task for Cavalier. So let's start by trying to find him, and you're wandering the crowd. So we're going to switch things up tonight. Do you remember where we left off? We had Fall Search a Body. We had Lord Varth do some diplomancy with... Do you remember the Lord's name, Mr. Hamilton? Or should I say Lord Varth?
No, I don't. Hang on just one sec.
Lord Boltus arrived with a cleric from the Moagi Expanse, who wanted to...
That's right.
Yeah, Boltus. And he arrived with a cleric who's been running around healing and holding out his hand, asking for recompense for the god Adabar, because it's all about the money, money, money.
Well, I'm not totally evil. Like, I'll save people, but Adabar's going to get paid.
Oh, yeah,
Well, and Fafal, I think where we last left off was the cleric was about to heal Fafal because Fafal was, like, paying him.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. You were laundering your money through the church because we know, allegedly, where that money came from.
Allegedly. Nothing has been proven. You can't prove it. So
anyway, Winston.
Yes.
Knowledge and nobility.
All right. I got a 16.
A 16. I believe that could be, should be, would be adequate. Now, Lord Orlando, who now I'm desperately seeking in the back of this book.
Now, is he a lord or is it Lando?
Well, it's not Orlando Bloom. He's played by Orlando.
Well, that wasn't a question.
No, sorry.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That was me. I was just being a dad joker.
Count Orlando Zespire. Okay. The man is, I would say, in his early 50s. I'm having trouble casting the actor here. He has short hair, graying on the sides, wears the sort of white jacket suit coat with the white ruffled collar, gold trim. He is known for his swordplay of his younger swashbuckling days. Okay. The man has connections that range from Taldor all the way to the River Kingdoms. So getting on this guy's good side can help you possibly in the future. He's known to be tactful and has a genuine interest in all naval concerns.
Cool.
So you should be able to pick him out eventually. Now, it's not like there's photos on the internet of this guy. You know him by reputation mostly. But
well, could I perhaps inquire with one of the local servantry?
Sure.
Because I think that's probably the first place Winston would truly go when looking for somebody above his station.
Yeah. Perception?
Certainly. 14 perception.
Okay. Why, you see Mike back in uniform doing his gig, the halfling.
Nice. Yeah. So I'll trot along up to Mike.
Dare I say it's you, good man? Perchance could you point me in the direction of Lord Orlando Bloom?
What's his last name? Vespers? What? Zespire?
Baltus?
Zespire.
Zespire.
Zespire. Or count. He's a count. Not an earl. Not a lord. He's a count. These are powerful people. Counts are like, just under kings.
Dukes.
And so, they're pretty powerful dudes.
And then dukes are under the prince.
No, that's right. Sorry. Prince, duke, count, down to earl, baron. Yeah, that's but these are the guys in the top 3, top 4. Like, you know what I mean? He's not some schmoly lord.
He makes decisions.
He's not just some lowly lord from Black Creek or Blackwater, or wherever that guy is we hang out with.
People shall fawn upon him.
So, Mike.
The Iron Gar. You want to talk to him? Sure. He's right over there.
Look over.
Okay. Yes. The man's tenacity and sheer skill on the rivers earned him the nickname the Iron Gar. The Grand Prince Stavian III appointed him to a vacant seat in the Senate, where he represents basically central Tandak's interest. And Tandak being on your map, a little bit, shall we say, upriver to the northeast and around. But I digress. Anyway.
He's right over there.
Thank you, Mike, my good sir.
Do you know he plays quite a pivotal role in both Birthright Betrayed and the Jarl's Blood Wit Society and Lion's Justice, hopefully all to be aired in the Echoes of Honor podcast soon. So don't muck it up now this late in the game, because for some of us, it's early. Best of luck, buddy!
And off he goes.
Indeed. Rein in Barkley and weave my way through the crowd to make it to him.
So you walk up, and someone is trying to ingratiate themselves to the Count. And the Count is sort of politely, narrow-eyed, holding a goblet and listening to this young lord's story. And the young lord's doing well. He seems to have the crowd enthralled. But Orlando has a look on his face of somewhere of like, I've heard this story before, I'll reserve judgment. And the guy finishes off his story, and the young lord is like, so I told him, that's starboard, not port. I have the port. And he swirls his glass and everyone laughs, and Count Orlando just makes the most flat naval joke excuse for a face like, ha. Turning to the Count, realizing that the one person he tried to make laugh didn't, he offers to refill the man's glass personally and dashes off, leaving a small gap in the crowd as the onlookers all sort of, try to take their turn.
Well, Winston will fill that gap using the haste of Barkley.
And an escape artist roll that I'll take now. Or your combat maneuver bonus. Could work.
Escape artist, 14.
So slipping amongst the crowd in the ranks before it closes in.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, am I? People just back off. You're like nudging in there with a furry mount, the type of thing. And the wolf, get out of my way.
I suppose I'd still be under eye level, even being on Barkley, wouldn't I?
Barkley would barely come up to a shoulder, but the nerve, what do you do?
Pardon me, excuse me. Urgent business coming through.
Okay.
And I'll work my way through the crowd, trying my best not to...
No, you're in there, man. You're in.
And as I approach the Count, I will bow as low as I can without upending myself off of Barkley.
Your Grace, I bear a message from the Lady Lothide.
Eyebrows just kind of go up, looking at the spectacle, which is you.
Yep. And then I'll hand him the message, and then say,
shall I wait for a reply?
He delicately, with two rough... For a Count, the man has rough hands. You immediately spot that he's aged, weathered, and has seen a life in the outdoors. Doesn't hide in a castle kind of thing. It's immediately obvious. Yeah, immediately obvious from the man's hand. Plucks the letter from you, nods, and holds up a finger like one moment, one round. Breaks the seal, opens it, and reads it. And there you are, left in like uncomfortable silence. And because everyone was here to sort of talk to the Count, no one says a word. No one mumbles. There's a couple of sort of, about you and the wolf kind of thing that's to be expected, but you've heard that the whole night. But no one seems to raise their volume enough to interrupt the Count's train of thought. So they're all kind of leaning in, wondering what the message could be. And there's a lot of, I wonder what Lady Lothy would have, to do with the Count, all that type of thing. I like this, all this going back and forth and going back and forth. So then, one round, which to you just seems like an eternity, he... Sorry, just kind of caught me off there.
Just look at the crowd around, offer them some crab cakes.
He seems to come to a decision, nods, rolls it up, pockets it, and pulls out an already prepared message, and turns to you and says, "Please deliver this to Junior Senator Dow in the gallery. I believe is where you will find him."
At once, my lord.
Okay.
And I'll take the missive, tuck it in a safe spot in my...
Junior Senator Dow almost got beat up. You just saved him. And he's not in the gallery.
Fantastic. But I don't know that. Or do I know that? No, I wasn't around for that, so...
You were in there. Oh, yeah, when the guy when Dow came out and identified himself, I guess you were gone, so...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And stick around.
Well, no, I said over the pin mic originally, like, hey, like, Junior Senator Dow is being attacked by a woman.
Oh, that's the dude who was being accosted.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the guy covering the corner the entire time.
Sweet.
So he's like, I think he's walking out of that back room and like into the archives, I believe.
So I will take the missive, tuck it away.
Okay.
Turn Barkley and head back from whence I came.
Now, they have him there and there's some fallout going and they're going to be a minute. Do you remember when you guys met up with Lady Lothide and she asked you to look and watch Lady Trant? She also handed you a message to give to Lady Gloriana Morilla, who was in the courtyard with Eutropia, and you kind of missed that chance in that speech. Varth and Bartholomew and Fafal were kind of all in on that. Just saying, because you know where he is and he's contained, would you want to possibly run off and try and do the other message first, or...?
Yeah, because I have a feeling if I go right back to there, I'm going to get caught up in some fallout that may take some time to deal with, especially when, the whole Fafal being Fafal.
Yep.
So, yeah, actually... knowing that he's there and he's going to be tied up for a little while, and not to mention, I'll actually go over the pin. There's people who are still in the room with him, right?
Yeah, you believe so?
I think so. I'd say Gildervarth would probably still be there, right?
Possibly. You want to check? You want to send a pin message?
Yeah. I'll send a pin message to Gildervarth asking if he's still in the company of Junior Senator Dow.
Okay, so let's have it.
Lord Gildervarth, do you happen to be in the presence of Junior Senator Dow still?
Right, so he was escorted out already, yeah?
No, actually, at this time, it would possibly be one of those quick little breaks where all of a sudden you were in between glad-handing and talking, the type of thing, and this kind of comes whispering over your pin,
Okay, yeah. So I'll return the message. We're just tidying things up now. Yes, he's here.
Excellent. If you don't mind, please... keep him in your company for a time. I have another missive to deliver, and then I will be back shortly. I have a message for him.
Okay. Confusing, but all right.
Thank you, my lord.
And then I'll see if I can track down Morilla the Gorilla.
Now. Just because it rhymes doesn't make it so.
Don't insult my boss. One of my bosses.
Are you implying, is it alleged that you actually work for the Sovereign Crown Pathfinder Society, young Fafal?
I do a great many things, my dear Jeff.
Okay.
The voice in the sky.
The voice in the sky. Who can make
the
it
god
so?
of the gods. I don't know what to call you.
Give it up.
The GM is fine.
Fair enough.
It's who I'm gonna blame when I die.
What are you on about?
You just like singing.
Martella.
Yes. Last. Well, I don't know where she is. So
Sorry, not Martella. Martella Lothide is your benefactor.
right.
Marilla,
Oh yes. So Marilla.
no inserted nickname. Lady Marilla. Gloriana Marilla.
Gloriana, not Gorilla. Right. Got it.
That was my bad from back in the day. He's never going to let me live that down. Okay. So, yes.
So then I will weave the crowd, and I'll inquire with some more of the servantry. See what I can find out if they've heard of their location. You know.
Well, Martella said she hangs out in the courtyard, so.
So head to the courtyard.
Yeah, it's big, and there's a petting zoo, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at the wolves!
Sweet.
Are we allowed to bring them out of the cages?" Kids start opening cages immediately. Zoo escape. Now let's have the escape artist check again at a much higher DC. Go.
All right.
I think this is fair.
4.
4. Okay. Yep. Kid opens a cage and, like, you know, our guard or something mistakes, like, "Oh, thank you for capturing that beast," and shoves you back in like a little pen with some llamas that freak out. That same llama that Lord Varth and Bartholomew came up and were like patting, going, "This is how you do it, sir," and it like, you know, like totally botched those animal rolls, right? These same llamas are sitting there like just looking at you and the wolf like, seriously.
It's cool. I can run up walls.
Yeah. In your imagination. I was never. That's
One of these days, Jeff, I'm gonna get my hands on a couple pairs of those spider slipper thingies, and
oh my god,
my dreams will be realized.
I rue that day. Anyway.
Because you know I'm never going to walk on the ground again. Ever.
Okay, they're only active for 1 minute at a time for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We tell him that after he plummets out of the trees alongside the roads. You know, like, take away all my fun.
I'm not going to punish him, Jeff.
I would.
I mean, they aren't super expensive, but they're kind of expensive.
I'm sure he'll read the manual. Anyway.
No, they're good for, you know, like, getting up on the ceiling and then dropping on somebody or climbing a wall.
Oh, wow. This is a total new way of charging, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. +5 with the death from above feat. Anyway.
Yes.
Getting
back on topic, gentlemen.
Getting back to...
Okay, so I will get myself out of the pen.
All right. Get off.
Would you like a roll?
You are delayed. No, you can do it. Basically, you're burning time. You know what I mean? Like, you're burning time away from the party. You're burning up those 15-minute social rounds, trying to get stuff done as opposed to going, "Hey, guys, what I miss?" You know, that kind of thing. These kind of delays represent the failure of the roll. So time burns. You get your stuff back together. You get out there. And again, it's trying to navigate the squishy crowd, escape the guards who are now determined to cage your poor Barkley. Can I have another escape artist or a combat maneuver?
8. Darn it.
Oh, Jesus. Time's going by. Barkley's been gone. Winston's been gone for like half an hour, guys. Anyway. All right. Getting back to the party. At hand. It is party time. Fafal, up against the wall, using allegedly stolen funds to pay off or promised to one cameo performance. Rob Hammond, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Playing Juan Zumbari, the official NPC cleric that appears in the Crownfall module. You guys you giving the old Cure Light Wounds grope? What are we doing here?
The blessing of Vabadar. Yep, straight just to Cure Light Wounds.
Okay. All right. So, how you doing for hit points, Fafal?
So I'm at 4. Technically, I don't know. I have 16 total hit points and 12 non-lethal.
All right.
Built up.
I'm like taking blame for this, so we'll get our cleric to do the old D8 +1 because of his level, and
yes.
get that healing. Oh, nice.
Poof.
Full 8, 9. Yeah, this guy is like
Vabadar smiling today.
Yeah, positive energy with
healing. Double for non-lethal.
I don't know.
I don't believe so.
That's a good question. I don't think so. Anyway, it should.
I think the healing spell normally, I believe, heals lethal and non-lethal in an equal amount. So you'd heal 8 points of lethal and 8 points of non-lethal.
Okay, that might be what it is.
Either way, you should be topped up, though, eh?
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm topped up. I only have 4 non-lethal. So.
No, it was a legit question, like for precedence for later. But no, not that I'm aware. So, feeling right as rain and ready to face Leon, who's politely been waiting for Varth to stand by you, call for you, accuse you. Nope, he didn't see a thing, walks off. He's talking to other lords. Cleric comes over. Leon, you're in the center of this room, and stuff is going down. And it is true. You took the feats to be a scion of a noble family. It is true. The Vinmark family, although that family name is from the other side of Golorion, the Ulfin clan that was raised up and its leader becoming mayor on an exaltation day, years back, and the very personal guard, these mountains of barbaric flesh, that the Grand Prince Stavian III himself uses as his own personal protection. You cannot escape the fact that you are a young Taishan man with a foreign, exalted, blah, 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 risen up, the commoner became the noble name. And it is unfortunately for you apparent that not every lord will acknowledge you unless forced. So Boltos completely ignores you, turns to the scandalous Lord Varth, who's lately been rumored, because you've been spreading this rumor. I mean, you got to bring Varth down. If you can't rise up, man, your only choice is to knock Frank off that pedestal, because you got way too much street cred standing up there beside the cousin, the queen, part of the Stavian, name, and now Blackwell, and he's running around worshiping Saren Ray. I mean, who does that? Especially in the city. I mean, that's still not really, it's still pretty frowned upon. It's rumor mill spreading as you could possibly do. It's just not paying off,
A hanging nail gets hammered.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So just kind of, with nothing better to do but to turn your eyes sideways at the even more outlandish foreigner, now not from Kadiria, technically he's from Katapesh, but, apples and pears with these people, it's just something, I don't know, maybe just because he's so cute in that blue skin, I don't know. What do? You want to press this bit with the mysterious coins and her special personal belongings that just disappeared?
Well, as I have no evidence, instead, I walk up towards Fafal and speaking kind of from the side, not looking at him, but just mentioning as I pass. Do be aware, your honor reflects directly upon your charge, who then is unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the situation, connected to me. Do watch your reputation.
Befall?
But of course. I would never do anything to harm anybody's reputation that is associated with my lord, or his reputation. But please be mindful of your steps.
I'll raise an eyebrow at this exchange and take a half step back.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rob, Zimbari, you're there, and though you're done with the patient and kind of like turned away type of thing, you're not so far off that the samurai glides up on this guy and just politely, curtly, but definitely eyeball to eyeball is pointing out, you represent Varth. Varth represents me.
Mm-hmm.
Look now, I am on a horse. That kind of BS that goes on between lords. But I am curious to at the very least, you can say I can have you acknowledge this, if not, stow that information for later. Would you say or do anything? As a foreign visitor?
No, not as a foreign national. No, not in this situation. I just kind of go, but I pull up my little notebook.
Yep.
Make a quick note.
Okay.
Names.
Do you want to introduce yourself to this young lord?
No, not at this point. But I'm definitely going to watch him.
All right. Okay.
I already handed over the coin, right?
No, not this one. The other one, the samurai.
Oh, okay.
I like you. The samurai's a new character to me.
Fair enough. No, I was trying to think if I had already paid or not.
Yeah, you paid me already. Otherwise, you wouldn't. You'd still be bleeding. Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
For the record, I'm currently dressed closer to the Vinmark family as opposed to a samurai.
Okay. Gotta be careful when you say that. I took that as the description of what you were wearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks a little more Viking than samurai.
That's so much better. That's awesome.
Yeah,
tabard with a kilt.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely to watch you. Yeah, that's definitely
put him in the Shield Hero anime fur trim, everything. The long luscious green cloak.
Barbarian.
Yeah. Made me look like it. This doesn't match. But the man is human and obviously foreign looking from afar, even further than you. But he, from the conversation,
have a beard.
That's true. Yeah, it's there. It might be some Fu Man on your chew going on there, but it's it's there. It's definitely there. Lord Varth.
So, kind of noticing Leon kind of step up on Fafal, I'll move that direction and put a hand on Fafal's shoulder and, gently pat Leon's shoulder and say, let's not have the dour mood of this event spoil ours. Gentlemen, there's not much left to see here, and trust me, if Lady Trent's belongings come missing, I personally will see that they're replaced. I can't have anyone besmirching either my name or my companions. It just won't stand.
That is appreciated.
And kids,
Although I do
if I have to
believe
talk to
it
you
just
one more
goes-
time, I'm pulling this car over.
I am turning this horse around.
Turning this carriage around. All right, just get along with your adopted stepbrother. What? Okay, so anyway, yeah. Now my head's just filling with all that. Great. Mr. Ryan Messina was last seen riding off into the sunset, but the player still might be lurking. And if he is, I'd like to call upon him now. Messina, are you lurking?
I'm always lurking.
All right. Care to join the feed so we can look upon you? Because I have questions. I have more
But
of
if they see me, I get -10 to my lurking ability.
All right, fine. You can be the
Everybody
voice.
close your eyes.
You can be the voice.
They see you either way. You're kind of big and green.
Yeah.
True that.
Bartholomew, you left in a hurry. You left a message to be given to your good friend Winston. You claimed family business has ruined your evening. You wished your compatriots luck. And because you are sort of a straightforward kind of dour fellow, they possibly didn't read the subtlety into your mood that Bartholomew might be away from the party for a while. You have to travel to your homestead, which your father's estate is in General Pytharius' lands. Now, Pytharius has 2 large swaths of land, one directly sort of to the southeast of Opera and one to the northeast. And your father's lands lie in the northeast. We recently dabbled, if you remember, with a flashback of you taking riding lessons, and a scene that you did not personally witness with Lord Pytharius addressing your father privately on a balcony, and then Proud Father looking down at you, where you had just finessely mastered horse riding and looked up at your father and said,
Does father notice me?
the horse groom going, yes, boy, yes, your father saw everything. Not at the range that I'm enjoying you, but I'm sure he's paying attention. And you look up and your father's like turned like he's talking to somebody, and turns back and kind of gives you the one wave. Look there, boy, you missed it. He waved. But I would like to advance the clock even further back. Why would a man who's proven honorable? I mean, this is a guy who opened doors point blank and took 2 crossbolts to the face. Luckily, they missed. He didn't die on the spot in our early prologue series. Here's a guy who has been shoulder to shoulder with any combatant, has, I wouldn't say led the charge, but was definitely tanking along with you guys in any combat. Also, saved Leon's life instead of personal glory during the personal encounters with the druid and that devastating small bear firepaw, which was a party killer if you ask me. Retreated tactfully, guiding not his own horse, but his companion's, Leon's, getting a potion in this guy and saving the young man's life. The man is honorable. But with nary much of explanation, now he rides north to his homestead. And when this calms down in the party, when your thoughts get away from business and start thinking of Bartholomew fondly, and the days start rolling by, you might wonder why. Abandoning you guys? No. He takes everything he does seriously. But I'd like to play up on a little hint. I want to roll back even further into Bartholomew's past. Not a teenager, but a young boy. 7, 9, tops. Barely into his first growth spurt, is taken by his loving father to his father's father, a stout log home in the Northwood reaches. If you travel north of Opera to the Pytharian-held lands where the estate, the Dunaldagon estate, lies, if you travel further up towards the mountain reaches and along small wooded areas, you will find a log cabin owned by the Dunaldagons for generations. And here his grandfather waits. Not the first time he's met the boy, but certainly the first time the boy will spend any extended time with his grandfather. He's going to be spending several weeks getting to know grandfather and training with him and learning the ways of the Dunaldagon family. And eager, possibly confused, 7 to 9-year-old Bartholomew makes the trip north by carriage and trepidation. The roads of Opera have fallen into ill repute in the last century. Sometimes the roads just stop and are completely overgrown just to pick up miles again, even near or after a village. I wouldn't say the journey's perilous, but it's certainly no sort of ride down a highway in a park. It's long, grueling, and takes more days than it really should back in Taldor's heyday. The scene falls upon a carriage finally arriving at a lone cottage. Wood seat sower. 2 men exit the carriage, and his father stands just outside the door and does not approach, nor welcome, nor call for his own father. He just puts his hands on young Bartholomew's shoulders and reminds him of one thing.
My son, no matter what grandfather says, no matter what he does in the next few weeks, no matter what happens to you, remember this. You are a Dunaldagon. No matter what.
And gives the boy a gentle shove forward. Suddenly, the log house cottage in front of him seems much larger and foreboding, much emptier. Looking around, young Bartholomew sees no servants, sees no horse tied up. There's very even little signs that someone actually lives here. Heavy steps. Finally reaching the front door, a single knock, and immediately the door swings open, and he looks up into the eyes of a gray-haired human wearing a simple tunic, military-style boots, riding pants, and carrying a crop. Whipping the crop end a bare inch from the boy's nose, he immediately turns on the lad and says, "Can you ride?"
I can ride?
We shall see. Stepping one side, whipping the crop in a motion towards inside the cabin, motioning for the boy to go inside. Not panicked, but a slight trepidatious look over his shoulder back at his father, who has already entered the carriage and is riding off. The boy is left wondering why his father and grandfather didn't greet each other, didn't even speak. He literally just dropped him 30 feet away and the boy walked up alone. A shallow sinking feeling overcomes young Bartholomew, wondering what fate will befall him in the next 3 weeks. Fast forwarding to week 1, where his grandfather has him carrying heavy buckets of water along a thick pole over his shoulders, walking him up and down rocks in behind the cabin.
They're really heavy. We have to fill them up all the way?
Don't question what I ask of you, boy. Reach the top. Maintain your balance. And always be aware. And the grandfather picks up a rock and chucks it at him and hits him squarely in the shoulder. About your surroundings and what is going on around you.
Yes, grandfather.
It could come from anywhere. Attack. My accent. Who knows? Fast forward 2 weeks. The boy, battered, tired, lost a couple pounds and has been fed enough to survive. But with his stomach growling, distracting him, the boy stands midstream, trying to catch salmon with his bare hands. His grandfather, every splash, every misstep, every stumble, soaking wet, and his stomach growing louder. The grandfather calls to him, "Hurry up, lad! I'm growing hungry!"
This water's really, really, really cold. Grandpa, can I get out for a minute?
Bah! What if you don't have fishing pole? You must catch with bare hands. You don't catch dinner, you don't eat!
I can't feel my hands, though.
Bah! Send me this boy muddling, skipping a stone along the water. Boom, 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 and bang into the other shoulder, quite squarely.
Ow!
Grandfather never misses. Skipping to the 3rd week, father returns, and finishing polishing horseshoes that have been left rusted, ill-used, and probably will never see the underside of a hoof again, completing his task just in time to hear a carriage roll up. But by this time, Bartholomew knows to show any eagerness to leave his task will earn him a rock in the shoulder or crop whipping at best. So he waits. The carriage rolls up, he hears it stop. And he waits, glancing nervously at his grandfather, completely absorbed in the fire and the crackling wood before him. And still he waits. Finally, what seems to an eternity to the boy, a single knock on the door. And instead of jumping up and reaching for the door as your 3 week ago greeting occurred, grandfather ignores it. A very long silence. And then a sound Bartholomew will never forget. The sound of a carriage door swinging shut and a carriage driving off. Heartbreaking, not understanding the silent message that happened between the two men, his father and his grandfather, that grandfather believed young Bartholomew was not ready to return home, required more training to become the man he is today, and was better left in grandfather's care. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into a full 1.5 years. But every 3 weeks, then 6, then 9, then a month, then more, a carriage would come. There would be a knock on the door, and grandfather would ignore it pointedly, and the carriage would drive off. Finally, after all that time, Bartholomew, with very little hope left of ever escaping this family prison, did not raise his head from his task, did not leave his post, did not leave the firewood he was chopping, the horse he was grooming, completely wouldn't even look at a carriage if he was even outside at the time it rained. Growing to... what's the word I'm looking for, Bartholomew? Do you hate your father at this point? Do you hate your grandfather? Do you resent him for leaving you here? What goes on in that little 7 to 9-year-old head of yours at this point?
I have to do what grandfather says.
And what did your father tell you?
I'm a Dunaldagon, and grandfather does what he needs to do to make me a Dunaldagon.
So when grandfather finally rounds the back of the cabin, standing next to your father, you barely recognize him. You blink, thinking it's a dream that father possibly has finally come for him. Your father sees you, takes a step, and then steels himself. The riding crop coming up, and you realize in that instant that grandfather treated his own son much the way he's treated you. And as reserved and as strict as your father has been in 7 to 9 years, the man is a loving push cushion of love compared to your grandfather and the treatment you've received in this past year and a half. He is not ready. I should keep him another year.
No, father.
The look on your grandfather's face, to be told that word, is indescribable. A man half your father's size with age, completely demasculating your proud father in a single slow head turn and twitching eye rage, daring him to repeat what he said. Your father takes a hesitant step back and says,
He needs to be presented and learn etiquette in a few short years. We need him at home, father. He can come and visit again, as many times as needed, father.
A long, twitching eye moment passes, and then grandfather's head turns back to you. Bah! Do as you will, then. But he's not ready. And grandfather marches off around from the cabin. Your father turns and takes a few steps away, and then over his shoulder says back to his only son,
Well, are you coming? Do you really want to stay here?
Immediately dropping his firewood, rushing towards his father, and then something occurs to young Bartholomew. Is he ready? Does he need more training from grandfather? You've lasted a year and a half. You've come used to being alone with the man. Forced to read every book in the house, forced to polish every metal object in the cabin, forced to spend long days by the stream doing chores. And that's just physical labor on top of the workout and combat training that father, and riding training that father, though up here at the cabin, grandfather has never placed you upon the back of a horse. Every rock, every tree, every roof, even some wild animals that we caught, deer, you name it. He's put you on it, around it, weighed you down, thrown rocks at you, but never an actual horse. And says you're not ready to ride one. A long moment passes, and young Bartholomew stops his steps towards his father, clenching his fist by his side, and sadly, not defiantly, but with resolve, lifts his chin towards his father and says,
No.
His father turns full on to face his son, imposingly, raises his eyebrows and says,
And why?
Grandfather's doing what he needs to do. He needs to finish his work, and I need to finish mine.
Because?
I'm a Dunaldagon.
There hasn't been a lot of times in your life where you've done something or said something that made your father look at you proudly or smile at you affectionately. But he did that day, and nods at you respectfully, turns, and left. 3 more years young Bartholomew spent with his grandfather, and when he finally did return to his father's side at the estate, a wily teenager that was finally placed again upon a horse on the very day General Maxillar Pytharius came to see his father. But we already know what happened that day. And we'll see you next time on Dice Before Dishonor. Yeah, I mean, Stranger Things has been up and running, guys. Season 3. I'm surprised everyone's not breaking into the Never-Ending Story song. I came home.
I still haven't seen the first season.
Oh, it's so good. Trust me. Once you guys see season 3 of Stranger Things,
I don't do scary.
There will be no. It's
Scary.
not scary. It's
I was told the first. Well, okay, when the first season came out, I was told it was pretty scary.
I'd give it eerie. I wouldn't give it scary.
Are there jump scares?
It's as scary as Goosebumps.
No, not really. Actually, now that you mention it,
scary.
Okay.
No, it's like a kind of a psychological thriller. It makes you think about stuff.
You want to run
like.
You want to run Strange Aeons, and you're telling me you won't even watch like Stranger Things? Are you kidding? It's right up your.
Look, there's a difference between jump scaring player characters in a game and watching a movie or TV show, and like just like it kind of being quiet, and then bam, really loud, really scary, frightening thing pops up on screen.
No, actually, they give you a really good precursor to scary stuff happening because the music gets super weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
like,
talking.
You know it's coming.
But
I mean, like it's suspenseful.
Yeah.
But they don't go for the cheap scare.
They've taken into consideration their audience is a tiny bit younger too.
Yeah,
but like you want to talk about your like tentacles and shadow from the other dimension? That's right up your Cthulhu alley. Like,
fair enough. I haven't heard a lot.
Of a euphemism.
Yeah, well, these guys. Yes, they're big on it.
Sounds like the evilest university ever.
Anyway, back on point. There I go dating the podcast.